Welcome to the Get Over Yourself podcast. This is author and athlete Brad Kearns discovering ways to be healthy, fit, and happy in hectic, high-stress modern life. So let's slow down and take a deep breath, take a cold plunge, and expertly balance that competitive intensity with an appreciation of the journey. That's the theme of the show. Here we go. The Get Over Yourself podcast is brought to you by Almost Heaven, beautiful compact home use sauna kits, ancestral supplements, grass-fed organ meats in a capsule, DNA Fit, genetic testing for custom diet and exercise recommendations, Integro Health, high-potency liquid probiotic called Flourish, Organifi, organic powdered superfoods, delicious green, gold, and red powders, Wild Idea Buffalo, sustainable, grass-fed, beyond organic, and check out the bradkearns.com/shop page. That's my personal selection of favorite products for health, fitness, and peak performance. And here we go with the show. Did you know that looking at artificial scenery, such as your screensaver of the beautiful oceans and mountains and deserts, whatever's flashing on there, these natural scenery, or putting up a print in your office cubicle of nature, has a similar response in the brain to being in real nature? Looking for stuff, getting confused, and having too many inputs and too much clutter in your daily life is a huge source of stress, oftentimes undetected stress. So if you don't have, 20 minutes to spare advocating for your own health in the morning because you're too busy, acknowledge that's fair. You got little kids, you got this, you got that, you got to get to work, you got to get on the road. But at some point during the day, if you can find ways to advocate for yourself and do something that's proactive and deliberate, and especially regimented such that you don't really have to think about it or waste psychic energy devising a strategy to do it. Let's talk about probiotics from Integro Health. Do you want me to sing the messages? Nah. But probiotics are an extremely important concept. Hopefully you're all in on the values, the benefits of nourishing a healthy gut microbiome so you can flourish in life. And that's the name of Integro's product, Flourish, a unique, extremely potent, living liquid probiotic. Yes, it's liquid form. How is it different from other probiotics we usually see in pills? This is the message from Integro. Microbes continue to thrive and metabolize in their own milieu. Do you like when companies use the word milieu to describe their product? I do. These include short-chain fatty acids, bioactive peptides, amino acids, enzymes, and minerals. The liquid base makes it acid stable, so microbes can survive the stomach environment and transit to the lower GI tract for integration to give you a healthy gut microbiome. There's 11 different strains in this thing, carefully hand-cultivated in the laboratory with precision to deliver 8 billion total CFU. Why take probiotics? Come on, you have to ask. It's going to strengthen your immune function, reduce systemic inflammation, the root cause of all disease, improve digestion, promote bowel regularity, relieve gas and bloating, get you going again after illness or antibiotic use. That's me, because I first got this shipment the very day I returned home from a Mexican vacation and had a stomach illness once again. What a bummer. So sad, because I love going down south, but I needed to repair and return to action quickly. So I started guzzling this stuff and had a wonderful return to health. I'm a very enthusiastic user and will be over the long run because I need all the help I can get. I don't know about you. When we're talking about our routine usage of antibiotics, the stress we put on our system and in the environment every single day, I especially notice my gut health is compromised when I engage in overly intensive athletic training, have trouble recovering. My gut is the first thing to go. So this is my go-to product, the Flourish probiotic in liquid form. Try it yourself. I love the delicious root beer float flavor. Just kidding, man. This stuff is no funny business. This is the real deal. It's very potent. It tastes fine. It goes down okay, but no root beer float flavor. Sorry. Take it. You'll love it. Go look at integrohealth.com for more information and to order shipped directly to your door in its unique liquid form. Flourish! Greetings, listeners. If you've been listening to many shows, you will know that I'm about to talk about one of my favorite subjects, or most painful subjects, however you want to define it. Yes, the importance of overcoming digital distraction and staying focused and productive and managing your stress levels in high-tech, hyper-connected modern life. So I have an assortment of tidbits, articles, content to discuss with my own personal observations. Hopefully it will inspire and motivate you to get focused and take action on this disastrous problem. Yes, I'm looking at all the health challenges that we have. Not enough daily movement. We sit at our desks too long. Oh my gosh, we're eating this nasty processed food. It's still in the human diet for some reason. The corporate powerhouses that are spewing this stuff are still surviving. They're hanging on by a thread. Some of them are buying up smaller companies that make healthy products in order to have a better chance at making a profit. Ahem. Anyway, yeah, we got issues all around, but one of the biggest ones that I see is the influence of advancing technology on our daily lifestyle habits, stress levels, attention span, ability to be happy, balanced, fulfilled, all that stuff. And there's a great article on medium.com. It's worth paying the $50 a year to go have unlimited access to this wonderful portal called Medium. And apparently it's an assortment of contributors, like anyone can write the articles, and the popular people get more votes. I assume they get paid more if you give them a thumbs up at the end of the article. So it's an interesting forum, and they write on all different kinds of topics. And then the stuff you read, if it's about relationships or health and diet, they send you suggestions, examples by email. So go check out medium.com. And there's an article written by someone named Nir Eyal, last name Eyal, on this topic of digital distraction. And some of the comments to start out this show with: researchers say that our ability to pay attention is equal parts focusing and ignoring. Irrelevant information bogs down our ability to suppress distraction, especially as we get older. Ouch. Okay, so the young kids can focus more than the older folks. Isn't that interesting? I was talking to some gaming friends of mine in their early 20s to early 30s. Playing the massive multiplayer online media games like Fortnite and the other super popular ones. And I noticed a recent newspaper article where I believe it was a 18-year-old kid won $3 million first prize. A 13-year-old won $900,000 for third prize, and the guy who came second, UCLA graduate, yay Bruins, he won $1 million, $1.7 million, and he's 24 years old, and they were calling him grandpa at the tournament. And this guy acknowledged, and it's widely acknowledged, that the younger players have an advantage because they have quicker reflexes and I guess a better ability to focus on this incredibly fast moving information and inputs that happen that are very relevant to your competency in these video games at the tournament professional level. So, wow, isn't that wild? Anyway, so as we get older, we have less ability to filter out distraction. So to increase our ability to focus, back to Eyal's article, researchers suggest boosting our ability to concentrate as well as reducing distraction. Some ideas from the author of the article: use one screen, one browser window, and one computer program at a time. Ooh, I like that. Interesting. So you have to go through the laborious manner of adding a tab to your Google Chrome, launching up Microsoft Excel when you've been working in Microsoft Word or what have you. Very interesting. Never heard that before. Keep your physical and virtual desktop tidy. Oh, yes, I'm big on this because I wouldn't say I'm the most anal tidy guy. I'm a little more freewheeling in general everyday life. But I noticed as I've become older that I so despise wasting time and wasting energy and want to get the most bang for my buck every single day. And a lot of my motivation is being able to be productive and organized enough to carve out more free time to go and have fun and play speed golf, get out on the river and jet ski, play around with my dogs outdoors, enjoy nature, enjoy personal time with friends, family, all that great stuff that's part of life. But then if you're feeling the pressure and the stress that you haven't got enough work done because you wasted too much time looking for lost documents, there's a widely cited statistic that the average American office worker spends, I think it was 200 hours a year. Remember, a 2,000-hour year is full-time job, 40 hours a week times 50 weeks. I think it was 200 hours a year looking for lost documents. Ouch, 10% of American productivity is looking for shit we can't find. And so many things I'm not good at. One of them is keeping that email inbox at bay while I'm trying to deliver on peak performance tasks on my computer. But one thing I have to say I'm really good at and highly recommend is stay on top of your digital world. So your desktop with your things that you downloaded, file those things away, delete things that are unimportant. One thing that I've transitioned to in recent years very successfully is an almost all digital existence. So all of my notes and to-do list items and whatever they used to be in the old times, index cards, spiral notebooks, a second spiral notebook because I forgot where the first spiral notebook was. All these inputs have now been organized in a digital manner. So I really work hard to stay on top of that, maintain that every day. I have the notes program, the yellow program that's part of the Apple operating system. And the great thing about that is it syncs over from your mobile device onto your desktop, the exact same notes. So if you type a note into your phone at the store, buy some more of those pomegranates, it goes onto your desktop, and it really helps me have the information at my fingertips at all times. So anything that's in written form, I will put it into a document on Evernote, one of the greatest programs. You might have heard of that. I think there's something like 25 million people use this program called Evernote, but it's just a organizing notes program where you can make separate notebooks, like folders, and then notes inside the notebooks. But the great thing about it is it's completely searchable. So I have over 300 different notes and documents in Evernote, and I can type in any word. For example, if I type in speed golf world record, every single mention of that phrase will pop up in the search result, every document that contains that phrase, and I can immediately navigate to someone's name or a product name. Oh my gosh, it's great. It's like Google search for your own desktop and your own notes. And then, of course, organizing the notes. Everything I do on the podcast is archived in Evernote, so I can see if I talked about something before. Hopefully, I'm not repeating myself too much on these shows. But an all-digital lifestyle is a really great suggestion. Obviously, superior to the filing system and having papers and piles of stuff around your house that you have to go search for. It takes a little bit of effort. I guess it takes a little bit of separation anxiety when you're throwing stuff away that are so precious to you. But again, what's more safe and secure than something that exists on the cloud? Not that your house is very likely to get burned down anytime soon, or someone's going to break in and steal your important notes that you have in a special folder. But again, looking for stuff, getting confused and having too many inputs and too much clutter in your daily life is a huge source of stress, oftentimes undetected stress. There was one study I noticed when researching the new book that Mark Sisson and I are releasing in December of 2019 called Keto for Life. And it's sort of a comprehensive take, leveraging your keto, your fat burning ability into a comprehensive lifestyle strategy for longevity. So one of the factors of longevity, obviously, is managing stress, especially modern forms of high-tech lifestyle stress. And there was a study where merely looking at a pile of clutter in your house, for example, looking at those clothes over there in the pile, or a stack of paperwork, just looking at it provokes a fight or flight reaction. You know you have to get to those folders and organize them, but you've been too busy. And this is all at a subconscious level. So just glancing over at shit that needs to get done or shit that's disorganized can have a stress response in the body. So it's some serious stuff. It's the real deal. And we want to declutter your physical environment for sure. And then, of course, declutter your digital environment so that when you get on, when you log on to your computer, you have a fighting chance at succeeding. And that's about staying on top of things. Maybe you can reference the 60-second rule. You heard of that? So if you can get something done in 60 seconds, do it. If it's going to take longer than that, you can add it to your to-do list or put it in a prioritized order of the important things to do. But let's say you're getting the mail out of the mailbox. You can throw away junk mail very quickly. So less than 60 seconds. Ditch that stuff, man. Put it in the shredder pile, whatever you're going to do. And then with the important stuff, you're going to open it and file it away. Take a picture of it. Now some of those apps where you can take a picture of something and file that into, that'll actually sync into Evernote, things like that. I know people do it with their expenses because I saw the Super Bowl commercial. Anyway, so an all digital lifestyle, Brad Kern's giving you a plug for that. Doesn't have to work for everybody, but worth thinking about staying organized and on top of your physical or digital information. So that going back to the tips from the article, the rest of that was my ad-libbing. So back to Eyal, who said, keep your physical and virtual desktop tidy. And then I went off. To increase our ability to concentrate, exercise, meditation, and spending time in nature may help boost cognitive control. Some cognitive exercises and immersive action video games also seem to improve our ability to focus. Isn't that interesting? Especially spending time in nature. Back to the old time book Primal Connection that we published maybe nearly 10 years ago now. There's some great research that gazing at a large body of water elicits an incredible calming parasympathetic response. And the reason is because the lack of stimulation on a large surface of water is one of the only times in our life that we get to relax our hyper attentiveness and our natural vigilance, which is a genetically programmed, obviously a survival instinct. So whenever we heard a rustling in the bushes for the last 2.5 million years, we had a potential life or death circumstance. And so we have to be constantly attuned and attentive to novel changes in our environment. So walking down the street in New York City, you're going to have a complete immersion into change and hyperstimulation with the honking horns and the people passing by you and the changing signs in Times Square. I don't think there's a better example of hyperstimulation than getting in Times Square. A couple of years ago, my flight was a little bit delayed, time change coming from West Coast, and I got in late, took the Uber from the airport to my hotel, which was right off of Times Square. So I think I was at Times Square at about 1:30 or 2 in the morning, New York time. And you get out of the car and you absolutely have no idea what time it was. It might as well have been 7 p.m., 8 p.m., whatever. And it's just crazy to be out there and kind of thrust into the most artificial and overstimulatory environment you can imagine anywhere on the planet. Not that it's not fun to soak it up, spend a little time there, but of course it's all about balance and decompressing from this engagement with hyperstimulation, and that's what the being the body of water is all about. That's why I'm glad I moved to Lake Tahoe, Nevada recently. That's a pretty big body of water, pretty awesome gaze with the mountain background. Second deepest lake in North America besides Crater Lake, over 1,200 feet deep. Oh yeah. Calm the brain. Looking forward to doing that every single day. Why not when you have that opportunity? But of course, we can all make things work in whatever environment we're in and find calming behaviors and calming scenery to help us. Did you know other studies reference that looking at artificial scenery, such as your screensaver of the beautiful oceans and mountains and deserts, whatever's flashing on there, these natural scenery, or putting up a print in your office cubicle of nature, has a similar response in the brain to being in real nature. Yeah, that's awesome. Like a miniature little fountain that you can put on your desktop, that running water The sensation of running water and the sounds and the sight of gazing into your tiny little office fountain can have a similar benefit. So if you can surround yourself with nature imagery and then get out and experience the real thing once in a while, you will chill out and improve your ability to focus when it's time to focus. Moving on to more interesting compilations on this matter, I have a great and very memorable quote from Julie Morgenstern, the author of this book called Never Check Email in the Morning, referencing the disastrous effects of doing something so simple and innocent of reaching for your phone first thing in the morning, something that a reported 70 to 80% of Americans do every single morning. First thing we do. How about that for a Family Feud question? What's the first thing you do in the morning? Take a crap. Our survey said, ding. Number 1, reach for your dang phone. The reason I said 70 to 80% is because I forgot what the article said, and I know something up there crazy. Okay, so Julie Morgenstern, in an article in the Huffington Post, asserts that when you check your email in the morning, or look at the notifications that pop up onto your screen, take that shit off anyway, people. Go look for stuff yourself. Don't allow these intrusions into your life. If you check your phone first thing in the morning, you will, quote from the expert, you'll never recover because you have set your brain up to get into reactive mode rather than the more productive, less stressful, proactive mode where you're in control of your life. Back to the quote from the article. Your focus is pretty much shot when you begin your day with your eyes glued to your phone, or your focus won't be what it could have been if you started the day off differently. Here's what Morgan says, quote, it's hard to go from your transactional, shallow part of your brain, the frontal cortex, to the other parts of your brain where strategy happen and relationships happen. It's easier to start in the deep recesses of your brain and then go to the shallow parts later. So what Morgenstern is saying is that your mind goes all over the place when you scan your email and notifications as soon as you wake up, and it can leave you feeling directionless and overwhelmed as you move forward with your day. But if you start off with something important and focused in the morning, Morgenstern explains that you'll be well on your way to feeling and being more productive. I am going to weigh in here again. I'm going to tout the areas where I'm strong and totally admit in the most honest and vulnerable manner possible the areas where I suck, like so many of us can admit. But in the morning, first thing, and you can see this on YouTube, I'm so proud to say this, that I actually do my morning flexibility, mobility routine every single day without fail. And I've been doing so since around the time I published the video, which was early 2017. So what's that? I'm looking at, at least a couple years, 2.5 years of getting out of bed, going down on the ground and doing this simple leg drills and core exercises. One of the most important things for me is just kind of increasing or improving the foundation from which I launch all my workouts, especially the strenuous workouts like sprinting. So I get this core work and this flexibility drills for my hamstrings, my hip flexors every single morning. And I really do feel like it's helped because it only takes 12 minutes. I thought it took 5, and then when we filmed it and I actually timed it, it takes 12. Isn't that funny? I just love it so much, and it's so simple and natural to me. I don't have to think about it. I just get down on the ground and do it. The YouTube video has me doing it in bed, but one day I realized that when you're doing core exercises and sinking into a mattress, they're way, way easier than doing it on the ground. So sorry for that necessary update, but this is a way. Besides the physical benefits of getting more flexible hamstrings, I can also relate that it puts me into that proactive mindset. I count through the sequences. So I do 30 hamstring raises on each side. I do 20 frogs in each direction, et cetera, et cetera. And so I can't really have a phone in my hand doing so much as having a conversation or looking at anything because I'll lose count. And believe me, I've tried it before where I am grabbing the phone. Maybe someone's calling or I need to look something up and remember something. But it all happens after I'm done with my simple morning routine. Don't even talk to me till I've had my morning coffee. In this case, my morning coffee really is the flexibility mobility drills. And then when I'm home, I immediately descend the stairs down into the chest freezer cold tub for that 6-minute, it's around 6 minutes these days, 6-minute immersion into 36 to 38 degree ice cold water. And I proceed with my sequence of deep diaphragmatic breaths, where it's very much like a meditative experience because I'm focusing entirely on my breath and keeping account up to completing 20 deep diaphragmatic breaths. And when I'm totally focused on my breath, that's when I can override that sympathetic shock response when you're jumping into cold water and really be impervious to cold. So I'm like a mini Wim Hof experiment. If you haven't heard of Wim Hof, they call him the Iceman. He's done some extraordinary feats, overriding scientific belief of what the human body is capable of, where he exposes himself to cold temperatures, and through his breathing drills, he can overcome the usual human reaction to cold. He climbed up to 24,500 feet on Mount Everest in shorts and shoes, nothing else. He's been immersed in, packed in ice for a Guinness World Record time of 1 hour and 45 minutes. He did it in a central square in Japan amidst all these onlookers. Most people would die somewhere around 30 minutes when they're packed in ice, but he was able to do it with his breathing drill. So I do the mini version, and I'm able to proudly say that I can hang in really cold water every morning. So these are both proactive activities. Yeah, they take a little time. So if you don't have 20 minutes to spare, advocating for your own health in the morning because you're too busy, acknowledge that's fair. You got little kids, you got this, you got that, you got to get to work, you got to get on the road. But at some point during the day, if you can find ways to advocate for yourself and do something that's proactive and deliberate, and especially regimented such that you don't really have to think about it or waste psychic energy devising a strategy to do it. You just have a pattern behavior that's habitual. It can have a tremendous effect on your ability to concentrate and manage stress. So that's my starting out morning, rather than picking up my phone immediately and getting sidetracked. And believe me, oh my gosh, when I compare and contrast having the foundation of doing the morning legs routine, compare and contrast to the times where I have to react to something, oh man, I feel out of sorts. It's really disturbing and upsetting. And of course, sometimes I am pulled away from whatever it is for some emergency reason. I shouldn't say emergency or urgent reason. What I do there, my rule is I get to my legs at a later time. So I still knock it off that day. And it has a lot of importance to me. Because I'm, first of all, communicating it in public, but also because I want to stick to my streak and my commitment to it. So fun stuff there. And if you can devise anything, even if it's 5 minutes of doing the familiar yoga sun salute stretches, where you just wake up, go out onto your a balcony porch outdoors, get your feet on the grass for some earthing benefits, some connection with the polarity, the magnetism of the earth, and just do a few minutes of short stretching sequences, knowing that you're in control, you're the boss of your morning. It does have a big difference. Why is it so hard? How come Brad sounds like he's nailing everything? Now it's time to talk, get real with you, and talk about some of the stuff I really suck at and struggle with. And that will happen on the part 2 breather show of overcoming digital distractions and hyperconnectivity. Thanks so much for getting this whole thing set up. We will keep the conversation going for sure. Thank you for listening to the show. We would love your feedback at getoveryourselfpodcast@gmail.com. And we would also love if you could leave a rating and a review on iTunes or wherever you listen to podcasts. I know it's a hassle. You have to go to desktop iTunes, click on the tab that says ratings and reviews, and then click to rate the show anywhere from 5 to 5 stars. And it really helps spread the word so more people can find the show and get over themselves, because they need to. Thanks for doing it. Hey, how about a backwards commercial? Are you ready? So, go to OrganifyShop.com and enter the discount code BRAD for 20% off your order. That's ORGANIFI shop.com. Why would I do something as silly as a backwards commercial? It's because I'm positive you have to try this stuff. Trust me, order some now. It's going to change your life. Organifi is an organic superfood supplement company. They're known for their greens. You take them when you travel, get all your nutrition. But I like their top secret, Organifi Gold, warm relaxation beverage. This is the single best tasting tea you will ever try in your life. So if you want something soothing, delicious, nutritious at the end of your busy, productive day, pour yourself a scoop of Organifi Gold. What's in there? Turmeric, the anti-inflammatory superstar, is the base. And then, listen to this, smooth coconut milk, cinnamon, ginger, lemon balm, and 2 super mushrooms. It's legit. It's delicious. Check it all out at OrganifiShop.com. And don't forget to put in B.rad for 20% off. Try Organifi Gold. If you're not totally satisfied, send it back to me and I'll keep it.